Grapes are so fucking good.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to get into part 2 of the story. I know a lot of people were digging it, and it's important for me to reflect on this stuff because once you lose some weight, whether it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds, you find yourself in this place where you're looking at social media, you're looking at other people in your day-to-day life, whether it's at work, the gym, whatever, and you're completely absent of the fact that you've done something amazing for yourself, to take care of yourself, to take care of your mind, your body, to show up for your family, to show up for yourself, for the only body you're ever going to have, and you just lose it. You completely let it go because there's somebody with nicer arms than you, or a better tapered waist than you, or whatever, you know? I'm really hoping, by the way, today that it rains out because we're supposed to go volunteer, me and my wife, for our local parish festival. And they have 1 million volunteers, and I don't want to do it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
You motherfucker.
So let me just get into part 2. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous when I film this stuff. I was 350 pounds. I lost over 150 pounds. The lowest I got down to this past year was 164 pounds total weight loss. Right now I'm at 153. I start out 350 pounds and I start falling back on this idea that I gotta cut liquid calories. It's all that stuff's gotta go. No more Arizona iced teas, no more Starbucks Frappuccinos, no more of any of it. I'm not going to have the breakfast at the gas station. I'm not getting pretzels and the little cheese cup to dip it in. I'm not getting those little roller sausage hot dogs combos with the bag of chips. I'm done with it. I'm going to eat what I have at my house. And I start buying groceries. I'm having plates of broccoli rabe with sourdough bread. I'm having salads. I'm having meat. I'm having pork chops. I'm having Italian sausage. I'm eating all the foods that I know are good. And then a few times a week, because it's been told to me so often that meat's not good, I have like a couple days of, abstaining from meat and eating more veggies. I'm dressing it in tons of olive oil, and I start to go down the path of learning about some strategies for losing weight. I stumble upon Dave Asprey, and he had that book Fast This Way at the time. He was on an episode of Impact Theory, I think it was, that Tom Belliot show. And he's talking about, you always hear these guys say these like strategies that you can implement that are going to be like such game changers. Like if I add prebiotic fiber to my morning coffee, it's going to make this sludge that when it goes into my belly is going to expand with liquids and I'm going to be full all day. Not my experience. What my experience is that next thing I know, I'm constipated from all this fiber, right? And not even much, what I'm told to start with and increment up with is enough to fuck me up. And I'm trying every little strategy. I'm listening to all the Thomas DeLauer stuff. And as I'm going down this rabbit hole, I'm a big frequenter at the time of 4chan because they always had pirated comic books. And I was a huge DC Comics fan. So for years, I would go on there to read my weekly comics every week. And on the fitness channel on 4chan, there's something called the Fasting General thread. And it has all these images and screenshots, and people are talking about this guy, Cole Robinson's snake diet. And it's pushing something way bigger than just like intermittent fasting, which was so friggin' hot at the time on YouTube. It's pushing something called rolling fasts. And I am enamored by the idea, right? Like, I was like a homeless drug addict at a certain point, and I was taught that abstaining from drugs and alcohol was the first step to my recovering from that. So for me, it made tons of sense that abstaining from food was going to be like this incredibly powerful thing that I could do for myself to rapidly lose weight and to renegotiate my relationship with food. I start doing my first 40-hour fast, 46 hours, 48. I pushed to my first 5-day fast. And I remember that first morning I woke up and I could have food, and I put 2 tablespoons of Kerrygold grass-fed butter into a pan, and I put 2 eggs in there, right? Like, what's the Nellies or whatever, pasture-raised eggs, Vital Farms. So I had the Vital Farms butter, all that stuff, because carnivore was hot as hell too. And I remember eating those eggs and feeling so good. But then the weekend would come, and the weekend would come, right? And I do all good all week, and then the weekend would come. And it's like, the gloves would be off. And this is a common thing, right? Like, it's probably one of the most discussed things is that if you're in a deficit all week and then the weekend comes and you get those calories up, you trashed your whole progress. But there's something more than that, which is that, like, you start to really get this awful relationship with food where you're trying to build a better decision-making process for yourself. But the darkness inside is like not healing. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And so you can keep making the progress, but that darkness inside, that pushes you into the eating to begin with, right? Like the thing you seek the comfort from, it just keeps growing. And so, like, instead of thinking about all week my calorie deficit, weekend calorie surplus, instead of thinking about that, right, put all that to the side. All week I was attempting to be in a position of power in my life. And then the weekend would come and the darkness would come out. And the darkness was not diminished by being pushed away all week. It was always stronger. And so I found myself, like I was saying, there came a period where even though I was 80 pounds down, I had to start leaving my wallet at home when I would go to work. Because if not, I was going to eat, and I was going to eat too much. And then I found myself stealing the company car to go home to get the wallet and then in the drive-thru. And that, my friends, is a problem, right? Like, I'm not just doing something that could jeopardize like my then job, that could not just get me in like legal trouble, even though it's Philadelphia and you can just drive around killing people. It doesn't even matter. On paper, right? Like, I'm making unethical decisions to support behavior I don't want to be a part of. That isn't good for me. That doesn't make me happy. And then the morning would come and I would knew what I did and I'd feel awful. And the only tool I had in my belt was to resolve to fast again. Because when I would try and eat structured meals, it wouldn't work out. Well, around that time was when I started to play around with what I like to call hate yourself pills. At that time, Derek from More Plates, More Dates had put out Raoul Sign, right? Like, he had brought Alpha Yo pretty mainstream. This is a Dark Labs double yohimbine. It has both yohimbine and Raoul Sign. So it's 2 different sources of these compounds. This is Lipodream, right? Like, I could talk at ends about these things. For people that grew up in the 90s or were, adults in the 90s, you remember late 90s, Trim Spa, all that stuff. I vividly, even though I wasn't participating as a kid, I remember all those commercials. Late at night, that there was these diet pills you could go to CVS and just get blasted on stimulants that were damn near amphetamines. I started to really hammer the caffeine at this point because it was the only thing that could take away my appetite. I went from being a 2 cup of coffee a day guy, 2-3 cups of tea, whatever it was at that time, to several energy drinks a day. I would wake up, have pre-workout. Within 3 hours, I'm starving. I'm crushing 150 to 300 milligrams of caffeine in an energy drink. I'm taking Alpha Yohimbine. I'm chugging water. I'm pounding diet sodas. They got 30 to 60 milligrams of caffeine, depending on what kind and how big of a bottle or container you're drinking out of. And I'm hammering these things. I mean, some days I would have 8 diet sodas, 2 doses of the Yohimbine, or take 2 Lipodrine on top of energy drinks. And I'm doing this all day to get through the day because I have to fast. Because if I eat, I know what's going to happen. And this is where I often am looking at a lot of Jerome from Finally Fasting's content, and I'm like, dude, I feel you. Like, I know exactly what he's talking about with like the fear, and when I eat, the gloves are off. So I need to fast for these crazy lengths of time. Because if not, when I eat, it's going to be an issue. I'm going to backslide. So I have to front load my diet with so much abstaining from any calories at all. Because when I eat, I'm fucking it all up. And I found myself in that spot where I'm pushing for longer fasts. I'm coming up on 100 pounds at that point. I'm like stuck between 240, 250. I can't stop hammering Taco Bell. I can't stop hammering Cheesecake Factory. I can't stop going to the pizza shop. And so I at this point, I go, these are the new 2 things I got to really lean on. Fasting's already a prerequisite, so we'll say 3. The 3 things I got to lean on are fasting windows, a low-carb ketogenic diet, hopefully carnivore, and then I have to destroy myself with stimulants to kill the appetite so that I can make it to my eating window, and then I have to abstain from carbs. Around this point, I'm like doing 1,500 calories a day of chicken and veg, and then I'd have 2 double scoop whey protein shakes mixed in water, so that I'm getting my 200 grams of protein, enough fiber to fill me up, and hopefully I'm in a state of ketosis. By this point, I'm long past pissing on strips and wondering if I have like that tangy fat breath you get when you're deep into ketosis. This was like around when Cole was doing, the snake diet guy was doing the pickles and spam diet. And he was like, telling people like, you're going to get your salts in. And I did all that stuff. And I would fuck it all up come the weekend. Friday I go, okay, it's my cheat day. I go to ShopRite. I pick up a log of mozzarella. I pick up a block of smoked Gouda. I pick up a couple other little things I want to munch on and a piece of red meat. And I'd hang out with my friend, who's now my wife, because she's a sucker. And we would have some food. But what she doesn't realize is, and even I'm oblivious to it at the time, is that like in this one meal on a Friday night, I put down 4,000 calories. And I for sure had some kind of carbs and knocked myself out of ketosis, even if I was in it to begin with, which really good chance from all the lean chicken and whey. I was not probably ever in ketosis throughout the week. I was so proud every Friday when that scale would be edged out. I'd step on the scale after I finished cardio. It's like 5:30 a.m. I've been awake for almost 3 hours. I'm literally vibrating because I have like DMHA, DMAA, Alpha-Yo, 600 milligrams of caffeine in me. And my appetite is destroyed by all these stims. And I get on the scale and it's like 219 for the first time. And I'm like, holy shit, I did it. And I'm going to be good this weekend. And then Friday night would come. Saturday would come. Sunday would come. And I get on this scale. I've been bad all weekend. And that scale says 235, 232, 229, 238. Then the next Friday comes, and I've been good all week. And I get on that scale, and it says 221. It says 217. It says 222. It says 213. I'm going to be good this weekend. And then Monday comes and I get on that scale and it says 232. And it says 235. And it says 233. And it says 241. And I'm sitting in my work truck and I'm crying. Because I keep fucking up. And I don't know what to do at this point. And I spend weeks in dark places. And I resolve to just try harder. I'm going to try harder. And so I start getting things like this. Wildfire pre-workout. It's got DMHA, it's got DMAA, it's probably got research chems in it that make your penis shrivel up like you're on methamphetamines, and you're pissing like a racehorse, and you want to chew the inside of your mouth. And I'm doing double scoops of this stuff, and I'm doing Lipodrine on the same days, and I'm getting stimmed the fuck out through the entire day, all week. I'm at work. I'm as if I'm on Adderall. I'm completely zoned in. I'm knocking out jobs. And then I'd get home and I wouldn't even want to eat, so I would push it and I would fast that day, and then the next day would come, and then the next day would come. And all along the way, not only am I becoming absolutely addicted to needing 1,200 milligrams of caffeine 7 days a week just to get through the day, but my metabolism's getting devastated. I have no clue that this is going on, because all I know from what this screen that I'm filming on right now has been telling me is that if I take my goal weight and I multiply it by 12 and I eat that many calories, that's the weight I'll get to. And if I just kind of like take the scale and I take that information and I look at what the discrepancy is, I'll be able to figure out how many calories I need to eat. And no matter what I do, no matter how long I fast, no matter how much cardio I do, no matter if I take a PTO day from work and I go get 50,000 steps in walking for almost 10 hours on a day off, that fucking number does not connect remotely close. And so I start telling myself that it's water weight. I start telling myself that it's water weight because it has to be. And I spend the next 16 months Friday getting on that scale, and it says 218, it says 218, it says 219, it says 220, and Monday I get on that scale and it says 232, it says 235, it says 238, it says 241, and I want to kill myself. And it goes like that for 16 months. I was completely lost on where to go from here. I couldn't fast any longer. I'm doing 5-day fast, 6-day fast. I'm having 0 calories. I'm so unhappy at that point. I've completely disconnected from the fact that I've lost over 100 pounds. It's over 2 years. I've kept the weight off. I'm starting to develop some muscles. I'm starting to like get some impressive numbers for myself on the weights that I'm throwing around. And I don't care about none of it, because come Monday when I get on that scale and it says 231 and my belt is tight, I hate myself, and I hate myself so much. And I'm so ashamed, and it feeds into the whole week. I'm just in the dumps, man, and I'm suffering. And it goes like that for a long time. And you know, my metabolism not only is fucked at that point, but all I can think about is food. And so this is when I start getting into baking all the treats, right? I start getting into slamming egg beaters. I start getting into low protein, high protein, high volume foods. Now I'm eating whole heads of cabbage because, like, obviously the one meal a day isn't going to work for me. So I need a couple meals, and I need huge volumes of food. So I'm going to work. I'm bringing 2 meals that together are only about 900 calories. I'm 230 pounds, 225 pounds. I should be able to eat at least 2,400 calories and to be in a slight deficit. And so I'm going to work. My first meal at 8 a.m., I'm having, you know, like a pound or 2 of raw veggies like bell peppers and onions and cucumbers and carrots and celery, whole bags of celery. And I'm having 8 to 16 ounces of chicken with it. And I'm buying all the like good food options, like the real good lightly breaded chickpea flour chicken tenders. And I'm crushing 8 or 9 Diet Cokes. And I'm having my 4 or 5 pounds of food before I get home and have dinner. And then for dinner, I'm having a whole 16 ounce or whatever container of egg beaters with some veggies and 200 grams of pre-boiled white potato that sat in the fridge so it could become a resistant starch. And Friday comes and the scale says 209 and it says 210 and it says 213. And I'm doing a 48-hour fast every Thursday to just kind of like push it in so that Friday when I get on that scale, I know all the water weight's out. I know I'm in a state of ketosis. I know I'm going to be my lowest. I'm fighting that scale. And then Monday comes and it says 225. And then it says 228. And then it says 232. And I'm just stuck, man, like a hamster on a wheel. I'm like a prisoner of my own design. I'm not in any sort of good place for myself. And I go through that summer. This is now summer of 2024. I'm cruising up and down between 215 and 225. And I decide I've learned so much about dieting that I know I can adhere to a diet. And I'm so disciplined. It's time to really get about the carnivore diet. I was on vacation in Italy. I was with my wife. Then, I don't even think we were engaged yet. No, I think we might have been engaged, but irrelevant. Love you. And she's meeting my family for the first time. We have a total blowout holiday. And then go back home, and I ask her, because she's like such a goal chaser. She's really, really good at challenges. Like the first time I told her, let's do a 48-hour fast, I'm thinking she's going to be suffering. And other than a headache, she smokes the fast like it's nothing. Nothing. Just I'm dying. I'm like, just like devastating myself. And she's just having a couple cups of coffee and getting through her day and staying busy. So I tell her I got a new thing. I want to do the carnivore diet. I want to combat insulin resistance by totally removing carbohydrates as a macro. And I want to get like the satiety of higher fat meals and all the benefits of not having to count calories. And like, I know I can stick to it now because I'm such a man of my word and I'm so hardworking. And I know you can stick to it because you're incredible and you'll follow me through anything. And yeah, that's going to be the last part of it, because what goes on is that I absolutely destroy my metabolism over the next like 8 months and end up at 220 pounds January 1st of this year. The exact same place that I was at before I even started all that. But anyways, I will check back in with you guys. Today is a sugar day, and then tonight I will have between 16 to 24 ounces of lean sirloin with sweet potato, nothing added to it. We'll figure it all out. And I just want to thank you guys for following me on this journey. And hopefully the rain comes back out so I don't got to go volunteer today and I get to hang out. Have a good day.